Well, hello to another DGCAD Revit 8.1 A to Z training video here. And we've covered a couple topics on the prerequisite for this, of course, being the family overview, and then if you wanted to go into this area and have a look at the family annotations to get a little reminder on how this stuff works. So we'll continue along here. We're going to do a couple things in here. We're going to create just an interesting way. You can create a profile, and the profile family can be applied to other families or it can be applied to a sweep. And we'll see that. We're going to use the profile template to create our objects instead of an annotation template. And these are two kind of examples of what we might use a profile for. Again, profiles can be used throughout. You will find families and you'll have like nested profile or families within a family where you can specify a profile. And that could be, again, for a stair railing, or a stair nosing, or structural component. You can see some examples: curtain walls, wall bases, and hosted profiles and non-hosted profiles. And then we can apply those profiles as a wall sweep, which we'll see inside of here. A very, very basic kitchen counter where you don't care about detail of the cupboards. You just want to get the mass kind of shape in there and extrude it along the wall. And here we have just a rain gutter that sits at our roof, and we can tell how that one goes. We'll go in and have a look at that because we'll create a new type based on a 5x5. We'll maybe change sizes and make a new type of the for this family type. So we're going to start off by just creating a new family. We're going to go in and basically create this with no parameters or anything, just a very quick profile that we can use in this case for this type of kitchen counter. We can use it for many other things. So we're just going to go over to our Revit here, and I'm in just a regular Revit drawing, and I've just got some walls inside of there. No big deal, nothing fancy going on there, and you can see I've beveled the top of the walls. So I'm going to go in here, and from within here I'm going to go File, New, Family, and inside of there I'm going to have a look at all the different family types again that I can use inside of here. Okay, title block families when you're making a new title block. Annotations, we saw some of the stuff inside of there, and we're going to look for a profile inside of here, and here we have a profile mullion. Let me sort by name down in here. We can see in here we have profile hosted. In this case, it's going to be hosted by an object. When you do a host sweep, which is what the end product is here, we're going to pick a wall, and that will be the host, and the sweep we create will be attached and magnetized to that. So we need to start, so you can see profile for a mullion. We can add in there as well. Profile hosted, just a standard standalone profile. Profile for railings, profiles for reveals, profile for stair nosing specifically, okay, where you can go in and just grab the and apply that to a stair or put a host sweep on it. So profile hosted, going to be our kitchen counter. I'm going to say okay, it's going to start that up, and it starts again. Each template has its own little characteristics depending on the category, right? If I go back up into here, remember, and I go into categories, look, it knows it's the profile category and doesn't really give me any other options. So here's the host face, and this is the host on this side, okay? The host face. So I want to draw basically over here, because this is going to be the base point or insertion point. And all I'm going to do in here, nothing fancy, I'm just going to go in and draw some line work, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to just draw along here. I know it's 2 feet less 3 inches, so it's going to be 1 foot 9. And then I know that if my chain is on, I'm going to go up by, for instance, 3 inches, over by 3 inches. This is up by, I need to stop 5 inches short, so I need to go 2 foot 7 from there. And then I'm going to go out by 2 inches, up by 2 inches, and I'm going to go back. It's going to be smart enough to know where that is, and come right back down to here. No big deal. Escape, done. So I just have a shape there, and I can move this up if I want. I don't really have to. Okay. I can also grip on this if I want, wall face, and move that up if I want. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is save this. I'm going to say save, file, save as, I suppose. And when I save it, I would normally save this in my particular folder on my drive where all my families are, and we'll talk about family libraries a little bit later. But for now, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to call, I don't want this saved in roofs. I'm going to go to my drive in here and go to here, go to my Revit families, and I'll just call this a kitchen counter. Kitchen counter. And save it. Now that I've saved it there, I can say load to projects, load it into project 1, and it goes. Now it's in there. Now I'm going to do what is called a wall sweep, and we're going to do this a couple stages. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to show you where you start. We go in and we say host sweep under modeling, host sweep, and we want wall sweep, but it's not going to let us put a wall sweep in here because we can't do a wall sweep from the plan view. We can do it from a 3D view and we can do it from a sectional view. So I'm going to go back and say host sweep, wall sweep, and then it's going to say, well, which family do you want? Well, I can go by coinus inside of here, go back, wall sweep, or I can change it to be 3-foot high counter, but let's say my 3-foot high counter wasn't there, okay? I would go in here to here and I would say edit and I would say duplicate, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. And the key is when you go into here, and this is where you have to set the profile. Okay, I had rehearsed this a little bit earlier, and then so it wasn't. So I need to go in and tell it to use that particular profile and hit apply and hit OK and hit OK. Okay, that's what you're going to have to do. And then now when I go near a wall, because I'm doing a wall sweep, it's going to just put that on there as a sweep. It just so happens I'm tricking it into, you know, using an actual the profile of a kitchen counter. But the thing is, if I go like that and then I do my shift click, and actually if I click on there and do a shift click, you rotate about it. So that is a very, very quick and dirty way of getting in, and because you can grip it and then you can stretch it back and forth. Okay, so using the profile family, bringing it in, and then taking a host sweep, doing a wall sweep, not in plan view. Okay, I could do a wall reveal with that, but it probably wouldn't make a lot of sense. Again, reveal, I would have to go in here. Oh, I don't have a kitchen counter reveal. I would have to go into here, edit, duplicate. This is making a new type. Reveal 2 is fine. Then I can go in and change my profile because I've brought the profile into my drawing by loading it into my drawing. And then I can hit OK and OK, and now I'll have some, I can create a reveal, but of course reveal is not doing the right thing here because the wall is not wide enough to receive that. But the thing was, we go in, we do a host sweep, and then if we don't see the profile, the shape we want inside of here, we go in here and then we edit and then we duplicate, we give it a name, and then we change it to the profile that we've loaded. Okay, and that is a generic type process that you can use in a couple of different ways. Again, very quick and dirty. Now let's have a look at another profile. I'm just going to go in and hit open, and I'm going to go to the C drive under documents and settings, and then into all users, application data, Autodesk, 280T, Imperial, and I'm going to go into profiles, and I'm going to go open up. These are all different profile shapes, but then the ones that can get hosted and stuff are inside of here. So I'm going to go to roofs, and I'm going to open up my roof gutter, beveled, and then there's this one. So there's two different roof gutters that are in there, and then there's just a straight rectangular one. Okay, I'm going to go inside of here. I'm going to hit open. I'm going to open up that family, and the first thing is that you'll notice is there's no, where's my origin, where's my reference plane, where are my constraints? Well, maybe there isn't any parameters. If I click on my family types button, I can see, well, there is some parameters. Some of it hasn't been populated. Cost, assembly, okay. These are more than and then we have our dimension type parameters inside of here, and they're both set to be 5 inches. If I click on this height, then I go modify, we can see that's a type parameter, not an instance parameter, meaning that if we change that number, it's going to change all of them. Okay, what we're going to do with this particular object, the first thing I'm going to do is go back in here. I'm going to type VG for visibility graphics. I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to notice dimensions have been turned off and reference planes have been turned off in this family. And that's just to make it look good. Now we can see, aha, that makes sense. Okay, and we can click on this and we can check the properties of that particular item. Now we can see, okay, well that makes sense. There's our height of 5 and there's our depth of 5, right? These two objects. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make that one works fine. Okay, let's just push that out to our project 1, and hit OK. And there's already one in and it needs to do that. Okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to see where my roof is. And it looks like I've isolated my roof there. I'm just going to go to my 3D view and I'm going to turn off my isolation. My roof's going to come back inside of there. So now if I go around and I can go and do a sweep with that gutter, so I can go in here and say host sweep. I'm going to say roof gutter, and now I'm going to say gutter bevel 5 by 5. That's one I just brought in. I'm going to pick that point, okay, and these will all be grouped together, by the way, and pick that point again there, shift around and click, and then I'm done. Now, because I did that as a host sweep and I did them all at once, they'll all be more or less grouped. They'll be treated as one object. I can say add or remove segments inside of here now, and it says down here, click on an edge of roof, soffit, fascia, or model line to add, click again to remove. So if I click on here, it removes it. If I click over here, it removes it. If I click again, it adds it. So I'm in add remove mode, and then I can hit escape and come out. The main thing is I have that profile that's being extruded around there. Okay, now I can go back to that profile over here by clicking in here and going into here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if I go into my family types in here and I go in, I don't really want to change this because that's going to change all of them. Watch, I'm going to go back to my actual 3D view here, and I'm going to go to the well, I'll change it the profile. I'm going to go to components and I'm going to find that profile, and I can find that particular gutter profile down under here, under families, under profiles, and we can see that I've got different sizes inside of here. If you actually double click on one of them, it'll go in, it'll show you the sizes. You don't really want to change the size in here because this is supposed to be a 5 by 5. That's the type, and then you don't want to really change those, but you could go in here and say duplicate, make a new type and put in different numbers, and then correspondingly change that number to be worked out back inside of here. Okay, now if I go back and do another maybe click on there and then take that, I can change that to be, you know, a different profile by going in here and saying, okay, you know, I want you to use a different profile. I want to use this profile instead, and then hit apply and hit OK, and then I'll get a deeper profile of that. So let's go have a look back at the actual family. Okay, go into here, family types new, and we can give it whatever name we want. Okay, but we can see that those sizes are already in here. There's that type 8 I just made, and I'm going to delete that. So what I can do inside of here now, and I'm just showing, there's the 5 by 6, there's the 5 by 5, there's the 4 by 4. So if I want to have a 3 by 3, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, you know, new, and I'm going to call it a 3" by 3", and hit OK. And then I can change this to be 3 inches and this to be 3 inches, and then watch when I come over here, I can look at that and I can hit apply, and then it'll show me that one. If I go back here and pick the 4 by 5 and hit apply, it'll show me that one. 6 by 5, apply and hit that one. Okay, and it all started by drawing in this geometry, and if I click on there, okay, nothing fancy going on with that, but we have that as the depth We have that as the height, and all these are labels that we made inside of here, depth and height, right? We can go add parameter again, make a new parameter in here, and then make it, group it under here, same as before, instance or type. Okay, we don't want, these are types because we want it to control all of them of this type rather than to change one and not the other one. Okay, instance related. So again, inside of here, you can grab this. I can say new, and then I can simply give it a new name and change these two parameters, and I've got a new type and a bunch of types. And that's why when I hit apply, and then when we load this into our project and it says overwrite it, sure, I'm going to go back into here, and under my profiles, under that particular gutter, it's going to have all of those types. There's that 3" by 3" that I've added in now. Now I can apply that to my sweep by going to my 3D view and then maybe grabbing that and picking the properties of it, and I should say edit and duplicate. Okay, give it a name and call it, 3" by 3", because this is the sweep I'm naming, and then actually tell it to use the 3 by 3. Hit apply, hit OK, and I have a smaller gutter inside of there. So there we have a couple of different rules with our types and instances. These are all the different types of that family. When you go inside of here, sometimes you will have different types of the same family, and all this is back in the family you're adding new types and then taking those parameters, those type parameters, and changing the numbers and then renaming them. And that's a quick lesson on our profile families and applying those to sweeps.